This is the beauty of HTML and CSS, and I'll explain in this video what HTML is and what CSS is and how I used both languages to create this beautiful landing page.
Let's get started.
To best understand the sections and the customization of a website, take a look at your favorite blog, take a look at your favorite website. You will notice that a website is divided into sections. Okay. You have the logo section. The logo is usually here. And then you also have a button, right? The button is usually there. And then what you now have again is, we call it the hero section, this part over here. And sometimes you usually have an image, a picture, a cartoon that's here, right? And then last but not least, you have a footer section where it tells, contact details, all that. This is what the home page looks like, right? And, it's written home here. This is what the home page mostly looks like. So all of this is just HTML. You can see that it's boring. If you look at it like this, guys, honestly, we wouldn't spend so much time on our favorite blogs because this is absolutely boring. So what CSS does is the elements that you created, your button, your logo, your hero section, your footer section, the articles that you have within this shell, what CSS does is it helps you customize all those elements. CSS comes in and says, you know what, I'm going to give you guys a background image, right? Or it says, I will give you a background color. You can see now it looks really pretty, right? What CSS does is, I want the button to look pink, so I'm going to make that button pink. CSS makes sure that your website looks pretty. That's what CSS does. That's what CSS is there for. Okay? So if you understand CSS and if you're really good at CSS, then I promise you, your website will look very nice. And a lot of people will spend a lot of hours on your website, reading the articles on your website. Because when it comes to websites, it all depends on the shell, right? So what you just have to understand is HTML is the skeleton and then CSS is the flesh on top of the skeleton. And both added together, you get a beautiful website. So now let's take a look at a website with HTML and CSS. This is HTML and CSS. If we didn't have CSS and just HTML, our website will not look like this. Without CSS, these bubbles that you see coming from the bottom of the screen won't be there. Without CSS, we won't be able to color this side footer section that I have. Without CSS, our buttons would look pretty ugly. Without CSS, Kariba snorkel swimming won't be colored in orange. It will look plain and boring, right? And without CSS, would fail to customize our logo. So CSS is very important. CSS helps us to even place this background image here and actually customize it, because it has to be, if I say, okay, I need this picture to be at the center, that's what CSS does. It helps you customize all the elements that you create in HTML. That's what CSS does. So with this website, I only created it with two files, and there's an index.html file and a css.html file. Okay guys, I'm back. I noticed I wasn't supposed to delete completely everything. So I left the hero section, the logo, and the nav menu section where I added some CSS. But I'm just going to show you what everything looks like without CSS. Like, I took out 3/4 of CSS. It's just going to be horror, I promise you. Okay, so Control S on your keyboard and just look at that. Like, what is that? What's going on, guys? What? Can you see how ugly this thing is? Compare this with what we had before. Just compare this with what we had before. Look at our sign up button. That button looks absolutely ugly. Look, okay, the logo, we still have the logo. And we only have the logo because I left the CSS on the logo. Just look at the take a tour button. Like, it's all the way down there. You know, look at the Kariba, snorkel swimming, everything is cramped. The only nice thing that we have is the picture. And it's only like this because really I left some CSS, just a quarter of CSS. And now you see the importance of CSS. Do you understand why it's important for you to learn CSS? Yeah, hey. On my next video, I will go in deeper, I will go deeper than this, and we will, start learning HTML, start making, a beginner course on HTML, and then we start from there because it's HTML first and then CSS. You can't put flesh when there are no bones. So we're going to learn HTML first, and then from there, we'll learn CSS. Okay, bye. Please subscribe and share this YouTube channel to your friends. Bye.